Okay, let's continue with removal of ammonium. So as I mentioned, there's three ways of how ammonium is removed from our body. So the first one is ammonium combining with alpha ketoglutarate, and then ammonium can also combine with glutamate, and eventually ammonium being excreted or removed via the urea cycle. Okay, so the first one is the formation of glutamate. So what happened is that, so this formation of glutamate is the major route for metabolic recycling of ammonia for its excretion. And this glutamate is formed from ammonia and also alpha ketoglutarate in the liver. Okay, so the next one is the formation of glutamine. So this is the second major pathway to dispose ammonia, to excrete ammonia from our body. So the main organs are liver, kidney, and also brain. So ammonia will combine with glutamate to yield glutamine, and this is aided or facilitated by glutamine synthetase. And this reaction utilizes ATP. So glutamine is neutral or non-toxic to our body, and it can readily pass through the cell membrane. And glutamine can also be carried to liver, which it can be hydrolyzed by specific enzyme. For example, here is the glutaminase to yield glutamine and also ammonium. Okay, and this ammonia again, it can be recycled into the urea cycle. Okay, and then the next one is urea cycle. So this is the third route for the metabolic disposal of ammonia. And urea cycle mainly takes place exclusively in the liver. So urea is the major end product of nitrogen metabolism in humans, and the form okay, the urea cycle can also form carbon dioxide and alpha amino nitrogen from the aspartate, and this process requires ATP. Okay, and okay, let's look into this in this structure. Okay, so I've zoomed in. So this is the liver. So urea cycle takes place in the mitochondria of the hepatocytes of the liver cells. So this ammonium ion will react with carbon dioxide from the mitochondria, and with the aid of ATP, and this ammonium will be converted into carbamyl phosphate. So this carbamyl phosphate, this reaction is catalyzed by carbamyl phosphate synthetase type 1. Okay, so now ammonium react with carbon dioxide, and with the aid of ATP and also this enzyme carbamyl phosphate synthetase type 1, carbamyl phosphate will form. Okay. So this carbamyl phosphate will then enter the urea cycle. So this is the urea cycle. So carbamyl phosphate, how does it enter the urea cycle? It will react or bind with ornithine. So ornithine is actually one of amino acid, one type of amino acid. So carbamyl phosphate bind to ornithine, and they will turn or be converted into citrulline. So this reaction of carbamyl phosphate and also ornithine being converted into citrulline is aided by ornithine carbamyl transferase. Okay, ornithine carbamyl transferase. Okay, now this citrulline will be converted into arginine succinate, and this reaction is aided by arginine succinate synthase. Okay, so this arginine succinate will be converted into arginine. So arginine is also one type of amino acid, and this reaction is aided by arginine succinate lyase. Okay, and the conversion of arginine succinate to arginine will yield fumarate, which will be used in other metabolism. So this is one precursor or intermediate in other metabolism in our body. Okay, so then after forming arginine, so with the aid of facilitated by arginine, so arginine will be converted back into ornithine, and the conversion of arginine over here will yield out urea, okay, a compound named urea. So this urea will be excreted in our urine in the kidney. Okay. Okay. So what are the importance of urea cycle? So as we can see now, the first thing is to eliminate urine. So urines contain urea, which is toxic to our body. So this urea cycle can also form arginine, one type of amino acid, and it can also form fumarate, which is important for nitrogen metabolism. Okay. So the main significance of urea cycle is to eliminate actually urine, which contains this ammonium ion, and it can also form other types of amino acid that will be reused in other metabolism in our body. Okay, so this is the written form of it. You can go through later. Okay, we are done. Do you have any question?
Doctor,
Yeah.
For the first step for urea cycle, so the reaction is carbon dioxide plus ATP plus ammonia.
So if you want to write it, it will be like this. So this is ammonium. I write it briefly. Plus and then carbon dioxide. So this reaction, this will use ATP. So ATP will be metabolized, and this reaction is aided by this enzyme, carbamyl phosphate synthetase type 1. So CPST1 to form carbamyl phosphate. So it's written like this. Ammonium react with carbon dioxide. So this reaction utilizes ATP and this enzyme, carbamyl phosphate synthetase type 1, to yield carbamyl phosphate.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Okay. Any other question?
Doctor,
Yeah.
is there any phosphorylation process in this cycle?
Sorry, phosphorylation?
Phosphorylation punya proses ada dekat cycle ni tak?
Phosphorylation depends on which reaction lah. Tapi for your syllabus itself, it's just important for you to know these intermediates is being converted to which intermediates. Okay. So there could be phosphorylation taking place. For example, there's conversion of NADP ke, use of FAD ke, or there's certain enzyme that is being phosphorylate. So it really depends. Kita kena tengok this in further detail lah if you want to know whether or not ada phosphorylation on ke tak.
So that means that these cycles don't contribute to the ATP production, madam?
No. Not directly, but these intermediates can be used, for example, in Krebs cycle, or for example, other contoh kan, for arginine over here. So arginine can react with alpha ketoglutarate, the transamination process earlier. Then that transamination process kan tadi eventually can form pyruvate, for example, or other intermediates that can be used in the Krebs cycle. So saying that this urea cycle, there's no direct relation how this urea cycle produce ATP, but this urea cycle produce intermediates which can be used in metabolism, which those metabolism reaction can produce ATP.
All right, doctor.
Okay, so the details of this, you can actually look into the principles of biochemistry, the textbook. So dia ada detail lah. But I will not go through it in our classes. Boleh tengok nanti.
All right, doctor.
Okay. Any other question? Anyone?
Oh, dia tengok video
Okay. if there's no more question, I've actually uploaded the tutorial. Attended, okay, sekejap. I've uploaded the tutorial exercise in the Google Classroom. So please go through the question and make sure you answer them, because during tutorial this Friday, I will randomly pick you to answer the question and explain it to the class. Okay? Just MCQ question, but be prepared before the tutorial. Okay. So these are the references. You can go into the detail later. The attendance. Okay, dah ada orang share.